And you're in the mix with Kinda Real Name. Here's another OMFL production.
When I hit you up, I'm talking about banging something. Chill off in your crib and half a thing, probably make the sting or something. Girl, you like my bottom bitch. Post my bill, pay for my lawyer. Play your position when the mother hoes get out of order. When you wanna give me that, you purchase a plane ticket. Around town when I bust the...
Alright, what's up guys? Welcome to Little Saints and Sinners. It's been quite some time since I've been able to do a show, and so I think it's been a long time. 2 months. It's just been crazy. I've been revamping the stream and just doing all kinds of crazy stuff. I've actually worked 7 hours today just on the stream, and then I was gonna stream tonight some PUBG. Internet goes out. It's been fighting me ever since. So we're gonna go kind of mess around with some stuff here, and figured it might as well. It's a good time to just do a Saints and Sinners. I haven't done one in a while. Kind of update you guys where we are. We're in week, I think we just advanced to week number 7. I don't know, 7 or 8, something like that. We just advanced tonight. My Saints are sitting at 3-3. So let's go ahead and dive right into this. So Panthers are sitting at 6-0. The Buccaneers 4-2. My Saints at 3-3. The Falcons have not been around for a lot of their games. They're sitting 2-3. And halfway through here, that's about where my team sits at 3-3. 157 points for, 143 points against, coming off a big win against the Rams last week after a couple of pretty tough losses. A really tough loss against the Buccaneers in overtime. Got humbled by the Panthers 2 weeks before that, and then week 1 included really tough loss. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and just look at the schedule real quick before we dive into my team. Again, lost to the Vikings in week 1, 29-32. This was just a back and forth game between both of us. He was really running the ball down my throat. His quarterback made some really amazing throws there late in that game. Burrow had an amazing game, but really lacked being able to put up points. I ended up having to settle for field goals 3 or 4 times in the red zone within the 5-yard line, and the Vikings were able to score touchdowns instead of field goals, and that just really hurt my team. Wasn't able to do much about that. CPU Falcons game right after that, and then I played the OMFL Bowl runner-up, the AFC Championship Broncos. They've had a really tough season. Losing the X Factors really hurt his team, and he has not adjusted well. I was able to squeak out a win against him 15-14. This was probably a lot more closer than it should have been. My team pretty much dominated, but again, I struggled with scoring points inside the red zone, and I had to settle for a bunch of field goals. It is what has really hurt me this entire Madden. And like I said, humbled against the Panthers. Again, settling for field goals. Only put up 9 points. Those were deep inside the red zone, but he was able to hold me out. Turned the ball over a lot, really got out of hand pretty late in that one, and came up with a pretty terrible loss. Played against the Buccaneers, and I played this game actually really well, but I just let him stay in it. Again, I missed a couple of red zone opportunities where I had to settle for field goals. Just ended up really hurting my team. His quarterback played outstanding, and he comes away in overtime with a touchdown, 30-36. And then last week, I was able to beat the Rams 36-17. My team played more like they should have. The running game was dominant. I lost my running back for the season, or my backup running back for most of the season. So scrambling a little bit with backup running back, as I do like to share carries. But Kamara was able to share the load this time, and carry the load, I should say. Carried the team, had a tremendous game against the Rams. We can kind of look at that one since it was my last game. 220 rushing yards. The defense stepped up. Only 73 rushing yards, but honestly, they were getting gashed pretty bad. But the Rams didn't stick with the run game, and because they didn't stick with the run game, that gashing really didn't hurt them, my team, as much as it looked. 193 passing yards for him, 235 for Burrow. He had to back off late in that game. Just didn't want to keep passing the ball. Ended up taking a knee a couple of times. 2 turnovers, though. Both of those were in the end zone. That hurt a lot. We continue to leave points out there. We continue to take too many chances. It just hurt us. 7 third-down conversions, super helpful for my team. With the, I didn't show it here. I thought it did. No penalties and 23.07 time of possession, but it was the sacks I was trying to find here. Our team came really through on that. 4 sacks. 1 was a safety. with a outside linebacker blitz. His running back stayed in. My linebacker went in and was able to get there. Burrow finished the day with 243 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 1 sack on the day. He was 14 of 18 for 77%. Luck actually played better than in these stats looked, at least in my opinion. 219 yards, 48%. That was kind of tough. 13 of 27. He did take 4 sacks, but 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, but it wasn't for a lack of trying. My DBs dropped about 50 of those things. Kamara, 21 carries, 177 yards for an 8.4 average. Gary right behind him, 11 for 39. Again, my number 2 guy is hurt for the season and really going to hurt my team in the long run. We've got to come up with a solution. Hunter Henry just kind of tore me a new one here. 5 receptions, 86 yards. No touchdowns on the day, but he was catching all the big passes. None of my other guys really got rolling here. Really came on the run game is where my team really shined. Only 1 sack given up today, and that was going to be by Armstead off of this guy's name. I can't think of it. I'm going to find it. I'm going to see it. Clowney came off of there and got a sack of Burrow. Mosley was all over the field with 12 tackles today. Let's see who was our sack leader. Pickney with 3 on the day. And then the 1 interception by Mosley and 1 by Carter really ended up hurting Burrow. 1 was a really great play and 1 was a really bad throw. Grayson also had a touchdown today. He had 4 for 187, 46.8 average, but he had a long and 97. He made a cut on the inside and that thing opened wide up and he was able to get there and break it all the way. Just a quick look at my schedule. We'll look at my team real quick and kind of where we are. We're moving into the Giants, the Redskins, the Falcons, and then a bye week finally. It's a tough stretch here with all 3 of these teams I think were playoff teams last year, but 2 definitely in the running and leading their divisions. The Falcons, of course, has been away, so I guess I don't really count that. But look, we know he's the division winner if he's around. This is a tough stretch. We'll see exactly how my team ends up playing on this one. We'll look at my roster real quick because I haven't done an update. Ended up trading a bunch of players away. Got the 3rd pick of the draft, the 10th pick of the draft, 27th pick of the draft. With the 3rd pick, we did want to go. Oh man, why am I forgetting his name tonight? It's late. It's midnight. He ended up going to the Buccaneers. Tua. I don't know why I couldn't remember that, but I didn't remember that. Anyway, we were going with Tua with the 3rd pick. That ended up not happening because the Bucs ended up doing their thing, and we ended up having Joe Burrow fall to us. We picked him very reluctantly, not the type of quarterback we wanted to run with, but he's actually played really well for us and been a really good player with the 92 throwing power, 87 short, 87 medium, 87 deep, so he can really throw it, 79 on the run. A 78 speed has been good enough to get around from time to time, and so he's actually been a really good player for us so far. Nothing really changed at halfback. We were able to bring Garland back, but he's hurt again for almost the entire season. He's been such a really good player for us and been able to get those tough yards and been a tough guy to tackle and bring down. And we're going to have to figure out if we're going to have to replace him and what we're going to do here. Couldn't decide between my 2 fullbacks here. We kind of went back and forth. I ended up carrying both of them. They both are very similar. And we just wanted another fullback on the roster, but this is probably going to have to go away with this guy Garland being hurt. This is what happens when you try to make a show at midnight. Your brain just doesn't work anymore. Mike Thomas. Smith actually got bumped into the starting lineup because of his run blocking ability. Valdez Scantling Jr., who we traded a 1st rounder away in season 1, has not come to fruition of what we wanted. He is still a really good player, makes a ton of plays. This Aaron Fuller kid is an undrafted rookie that we were able to pick up. He has been outstanding. He makes play after play. I wish I had more time to build him. Then we got Harris and Grayson still sitting back there. Logan Mack, Burbank, same old guys that we had last year. Here's probably the biggest change. We went out and we signed Lionel Collins. Number 1, he was an LSU player. Number 2, such a great player for the Dallas Cowboys for so long. We just didn't look at our roster the way we should have and put big money on him to be a starter. He ended up getting beat out by Pete. Pete has just played much better than him. But Collins has been a great 6th offensive lineman for us. come in on some big heavy sets and really open up some holes for the run game. So Pete, McCoy, Dercher, and then Ramchek have kind of finished off the offensive line. So that really hasn't changed a whole lot. On Yamada, we moved over to left end. We took Pickney, put him out to right end, see if we could open up some holes there. It's worked a little bit from game to game. Last game against the Rams, he had 3 sacks, but overall, it hasn't been as great of a move that we were really hoping that it would be. At 25 years old, though, he probably will be our import coming into next Madden. With our 26th pick, we took Raekwon Davis out of Auburn. He's pretty good player, but Brown is just a little bit better, even though Raekwon has been building up first couple of the weeks of the season and probably will end up being a starter at some point this season. Right now, he's the 4th defensive lineman. He comes up on rush defense as well and is able to get in the backfield and rush the quarterback. Hey, Cochran, we were able to move Anzalone for the number 3 pick. That means Evans bumped into middle to add some speed and athleticism, and Cochran moves out to left outside linebacker to cover those tight ends. I've actually been using him a little bit just to help against the tight end. He's a pretty good player. He's had kind of an up and down season. Another player that I wish I had more time to build because I really think he has a lot of potential. This really hasn't changed a lot. Evans comes from outside and inside. Payne takes over that starting middle linebacker role, and then for the right outside linebacker, of course, we have Shea, Hendrickson, and Lissamore. Really been the same core for the last 3 seasons. At cornerback, again, we moved away Lattimore. We got the 10th pick of the draft for Lattimore. Apple moves up to that number 1 spot. He's had some good games. He's had a couple of bad games. Diggs was drafted with that 10th pick in the first round. He's been a really, really good player for us. He's already got a couple picks on the season. Phillips was a free agent player that we brought over, and Bramble was a guy that we had last year over from Buffalo Bills. Both of those guys have been pretty good players for us. Not great players, but Bramble's made a couple of interceptions. Phillips is now getting more starting time in that nickel role. Looking at free safety, not a ton has changed. McKinley was a 2nd round pick that we brought in here. Got really decent speed, a pretty good heavy hitter. Another guy that needs building, so he kind of plays in spots on nickel and dime. Chauncey Gardner is my starter, but sometimes Chauncey will go out to that 4th cornerback spot. That allows McKinley to come and play that starting free safety. And then you got Bell and Kendrick, 2 guys that have been there for quite some time now, kind of hovering for that strong safety spot. Kickers and punters have not changed at all, and our draft picks, we have all of them intact for our import. So really not a ton of movement outside of those Lattimore and Anzalone and getting some of those top picks. It's been hit and miss though. You kind of get that with rookies, but a lot of it has been on my side outside of the 1 game against the Panthers where we were just completely blown out. This ended up being a pretty good season where it's been, some tight, close games. One went into overtime. One was very close into going to overtime. I think he kicked a game-winning field goal. Even the Bucs had to kick a game-tying field goal, which was a hell of a kick against the wind, all zoomed in and focused, and he was able to hammer it through. We'll take a look at my schedule real quick to show you how it lays out, and then we'll wrap up Saints and Sinners. And since it's only number 11, it's been a while since I've done one. Got the Giants, Redskins, and Falcons. That's the next stretch that we kind of talked about. And we'll get a bye week to kind of just stop and pause and look at our team. And then we get the minors, the Chiefs, the Buccaneers, the Raiders, Panthers, Cowboys, and Eagles. That's a hell of a stretch. I know that the Eagles and Cowboys and even Raiders are not having, maybe even the minors at some point are not having the season that they expected to have. But these are extremely good teams that are going to be hard to win against. And we're trying to make that a late push here in the second half of the season, maybe get a wild card. I mean, we're not completely out of it for the division title, but Panthers humbled us, and really not a whole lot to say there against the Panthers because that game wasn't close at all. Look at some stats, and then we'll get out of here. Burrow has been a good player, but I'm turning the ball over too much for him. 2 more interceptions last week, both of them in the end zone, and that just hurts. He's at 8 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. I got to keep those interceptions down. I got to turn those field goals into touchdowns. 63%, nothing to get angry about. 1,391 yards. He's had some good games, some great games. Also has some games where he hasn't really been there a whole bunch. Kamar's having a pretty good season. 110 attempts for 600 yards, a 5.5 average. You can see why we miss Garland. 35 for 151, 4.3 average, 3 touchdowns. He was kind of my monster, my big guy, hard to tackle. He'd always get 6 to 8 carries a game, and we really miss him. And after Saints and Sinners, we'll probably look and see if we can find a replacement. Thomas has had great games where he shows up and really dominates, and then he's had games like last week where he just completely disappears. Bogan has been a pretty solid tight end, but a lot like Thomas, has really good games and then completely disappears on us. We really don't know what happens to him. Got Smith and Valdez both kind of sharing catches there, and both having okay seasons at best. Offensive line has really struggled. You see Armstead already had 6 games in the season. He's given up 5 sacks. Ramchek's given up 3. McCoy and Pete, he's given up 2 each. And they've really struggled at times, really protecting Burrows. And hopefully we'll figure that out and be able to close that gap a little bit. This is what I do like to see about my team. Evans and Payne leading the team in tackles with 41 and 40 respectively. I like to see those middle linebackers roaming and making plays. And they've done that for me pretty well here. Pickney's going to be my leader at 6.5. Brown has had a tremendous season at 4.5. This is the disappointing point. Is Shea at 1.5, Anyamata at 1.5. Not a whole lot there to brag about. You want to see Shea be up in the 4s and 5s already, and probably Pickney up in the 7s or 8s or 9s even. But it really hasn't been there, and it's come in spurts. Interception leader is going to be Apple with 3. He's also given up a lot of big touchdowns. These have come in lately. Against the last game against the Rams, he dropped like 5 of them right in his hands. So a little disappointing that he was dropping those easy interceptions that he should have been able to have. Diggs started out really hot in the first couple of games, but has cooled off the last couple of games. Hopefully those guys will be able to turn it around, and we want to see some of our safeties stepping up and getting some of those interceptions. So pretty much catches us up where we are here through week 6 as we sit in week number 7. We're going to play the New York Giants here. Should be an interesting game. I mean, he's got a lot of talent. He's really super driven, and he wants to make some plays. So I think it was on the last Press Pass Live, somebody had said something about his team, and he went from not really caring to just automatically wanting to flip that switch. And at the end of the day, who doesn't want to be able to have bragging rights over a 500 commish, I guess? I don't know. Maybe. It just seems like I always get guys' best games sometimes, and that's it can be a tough thing. But this should be a really good game. It's going to be at home. I haven't had a game at home. It's what seems like forever. The Rams, I think, was the first game in a couple of weeks, so it'll be good to play the Giants. I like playing Pepper. You know you're going to get good FPR. He's going to run the rock. He's going to play really good defense. Burrows is going to have to make some plays. Kamara's going to have a solid game. Overall, I think if my team comes through and plays the way that they should play, we should be all right. So thanks for watching Saints and Sinners. I hope that you enjoyed the show. Trying to produce some content. It's been some time, and we're going to start bringing back all 22, maybe even Monday. I know Press Pass Live will happen on Sunday night, so Press Pass Live tomorrow night if you're watching this on Sunday, or tonight if you're watching this on Sunday, because technically it is Sunday. And then we'll bring back all 22. I'm going to do an FPR series, so it should be fun, and I'll start bringing back Saints and Sinners, and been working hard on the stream. I hope that you guys enjoy it. Come hang out with me. All kinds of new fun stuff like this. That's the kind of stuff that we'll be doing. And did that even work? That didn't even work. Oh, here we go. See, let me go here. We go here. And then we go there. Now we go. Now we got it. So we're doing fun stuff like this. I hope that you guys enjoy stuff like this. We're just trying to make the stream more interacting, make it something engaging, make it something that's super entertaining. And the more I kind of get used to my setup and know that everything works, the more I can kind of be myself and focus on my game. So I hope that you guys enjoyed the show. Produce some content. Let me know what you think about my Saints and Sinners, and see what my Saints can do against the Giants this week. All right. Have a great rest of your week. God bless you. Peace.